It was so rich. I mean, I never expected to see a song, Carnatic song with a dance there in an African program.
Baba said, since you are fortunate enough, since you are lucky enough to have darshan of Baba in human form, be sure you will be taken care of. Be sure that you are all blessed. That's what Baba said.
When the girl came up on stage with the album, I thought it was the album, but it was actually all the letters that had been written. Swami was opening it like this, so he was slowly opening it and he had a kerchief in one hand, he had the letters in the other hand. So to be helpful, the boy who was sitting next to Swami, he started turning the page. And Swami looked and he was fine, okay. And then he thought that maybe, Swami is eager to watch the program or whatever, so he thought he'll be helpful and he pushed 4 pages that side. And Swami looked at him and said, hey, 1 page.
You have already been welcomed by Swami. What has happened? Officially you commenced your journey on the 23rd. That morning, Bhagawan appears for you.
There was that little boy on the wheelchair. He was so keen to come to Swami, and Swami was also so keen. He was looking at him. So seeing the effort that he did, Swami stretched out and touched his forehead, and that was a beautiful moment. I mean, that spontaneity of the joy that boy displayed, and he got up, he was so excited, he jumped like that, and Swami's eyes lit up, His eyes became big and it was beautiful. Nowadays, on an average, if we see statistically, per month maybe Swami comes for once or twice for morning darshan. I don't know what is the reality, but personally I feel it is only to, bless the people from Africa, especially that Swami came out today morning darshan. That too, he retired last night at 9 o'clock. It was 9 p.m. 9 p.m. is like, I was wondering whether Swami came according to South African timings.
At one place, long ago, few decades ago, when Bhagawan visited one state, the president introduced Baba and made a statement. He said, I request all of you to visit Prashanthi Nilayam, to come to know what is happening there. Baba got up later. In his discourse he said, don't come to Prashanthi Nilayam. It is not necessary you come to Prashanthi Nilayam, because your heart is Prashanthi Nilayam. That's what Baba said.
And being a resident of Puttaparthi, on behalf of all the residents of Puttaparthi, I would like to thank the South African group for eliciting a morning darshan for all of us. Thank you.
created the drama when our peaceful democracy emerged like a butterfly from a cocoon of pain and suffering. Your divine light continues to shine as hope in our hearts. Today, despite our challenges, our country stands tall and proud as we feel the spirit of Ubuntu. I am because you are. You are because I am.
The production, actually, the idea of the production precedes the pilgrimage. It was a friend, a close friend, again, giving me a call, I think it was about 2 years ago, saying, hey, wouldn't it be great to do a production for the Avatar? And so that seed was planted a while back. And I think the invitation to South Africa now, this year, presented an opportunity to bring that idea to fruition. But I guess that desire, that little seed was planted a couple of years ago.
My involvement in this play has just been a Sai Leela. You know, we all have a personal relationship with Swami, and after the loss of my mother, approximately a year ago, I battled to cope, and I found that I was sort of in my prayers to Swami, begging him for a way to help me to cope. And little did I realize that he would bring something that would help me to be so involved with his teachings that it will take me away from my yearning and pining for my mom. So very significantly, the project was born on my birthday this year, on the 5th of March. And it's more significant, I received a phone call from the coordinator, Brother Sugen, on my mother's 1-year ceremony. So it was the 5th of March, my mother's 1-year ceremony, my birthday, when the project for me was born. So it was really a Sai Leela.
It started off with an official invitation by our spiritual head, Bhagawan Shri Sathya Sai Baba, to give an opportunity to South African pilgrims to present a production that is uniquely South African.
It was an idea, it was a nice thought. It was, oh, wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice to be able to do that as well, as a once in a lifetime, as a once in many lifetimes opportunity?
Pilgrimages for countries have been offered by Bhagawan Sathya Sai Baba, and first time ever an opportunity like this came through to South Africa about 6 months ago.
The Sai organization is big in South Africa. We have a strong organization with a long history. The question was raised in my head, why have we not yet managed to gather around and put an offering together for the Lord?
A group of about 5 creatives nationally got together and thought about what would be a very nice way of presenting a program that's uniquely South African.
So in the very early days, after we had our first meeting, we decided to split up and think and pray on what would be the idea of what we would build this play, an offering about. And when we all went in our little cocoons, and we just brainstormed, and with lots of prayers, it was amazing when we all came back together. About 4 of our members came together we found that our thinking was very similar across the country, as well as with this intimate team in terms of the storyline and the theme that we would follow.
And we thought about the concept of Ubuntu, which means I am because you are because I am.
We just thought, it needed an African feel to it, and because it was integrating so many aspects of our culture and tradition, togetherness, Ubuntu was the word that captured it, and then it told of South Africa's unity and diversity.
I always believed that in South Africa there's huge capacity, untapped resources, human resources, leadership of the highest order, skills of the highest order. And very fortunately for us, when we met together as a Central Council team, and we identified key role players.
So we crafted a script that essentially tells the story of South Africa's unique journey.
When all ideas were down on paper, and it really was a team effort. It wasn't my idea or a particular individual's idea. It was an agglomeration of the ideas of many people.
It was almost like we had to do this for Swami. The time was right where we would take children of various cultures, particularly children that did not have a Sai experience, to Swami's lotus feet.
And when all of those ideas were staring at you in the form of scripts, potential scripts, bringing together of many scripts, it just jumped up. What is the essence that we are trying to portray here throughout our history?
From inception, as we know, Africa is the cradle of humanity and traces our entire journey through time, through early San history, the period of colonization, the dark days of apartheid, into our post-apartheid period, right until our present moment.
It was like an industry, a film industry. We had to chalk out various segments coming from the production downwards and then from the logistical downwards. Numerous segments. I can equate it to actually a film industry.
So we thought that if we had to tell the story of our country and present it in a vibrant, ethnic, African setting with African music, dance, drama, mimes, it would really celebrate the unique South African diversity. So in essence, it's a story that tells the history of our country, but very importantly, it showed how the hand of God had been guiding us throughout our country's history.
And that essence for us came in the form of a typical, a key African value, a key African philosophy, and that was Ubuntu.
When we commenced this project, I must indicate right at the inception that we undertook this project with an objective in mind, that it will be a unifying factor. So when this project came up, our main objective was to involve the entire country in participation.
I think perhaps one of the unique aspects of the production was that its conceptualization was very much an inclusive one.
Involve everybody, ensure maximum participation, regardless of the challenge of working across the entire country, of working to include different types of people across races, across religions, because not everybody was Hindu, not everybody was actually a Sai devotee when they came into this process.
It's amazing how there are 9 scenes, of course, in the Ubuntu play, and each province was given a segment of these scenes. Some of them were given a whole scene. So they practice on their own.
We had never worked with any one of the people before on a big project, on a side project from across the country. So that in itself was a huge hurdle, but it was also a beautiful coming together. We saw that at times we had to listen, we had to be very respectful. At the same time, we had to share our differences of opinions, but eventually with a lot of shaping and just meeting each other halfway, we came to a unanimous thinking, and we were able to see the oneness in our work as well.
Doing a production nationally in the country or in a particular city poses a set of challenges, but having 15 regions come together, having a team comprising of hair and makeup and props and drama and audio visual in itself has a whole set of challenges.
Being a hairdresser, I was approached to be hair and to coordinate the hair and makeup for the pilgrimage team, and since I got involved, I think I was not only doing hair and makeup, I got involved in everybody's portfolios, and I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it so much that although I do Miss India World, I didn't get so much of joy that I did doing the pilgrimage, and working with everybody on the team was amazing.
The first leg was very high impact. We had very short deadlines to meet, and the DVD had to go to India to be approved by the cultural committee. Our young children were not fully prepared, but we bit the bullet.
So first time ever that whilst they operated independently in their own areas, we brought the whole country together at UDW.
So it was a huge hurdle at the beginning to try and mobilize the country to see through the same lenses in terms of getting a cultural, diverse group to go to Swami, as opposed to a pure Hindu caste or only Sai devotees. So that was like a mindset that we had to change, and I found that very senior people within our organization also had to revisit their way of thinking and not look at it as if it was purely a Sai caste or a Hindu caste or an Indian caste for that matter.
And amazingly, when we had video chaps coming to video the production, we were supposed to have at least about 3 or 4 takes. And when the entire play started, and when we had the first run, and this is a miracle of miracles, all the different segments of the countries fitted together, integrated together like building blocks coming together.
All I can say, it was another Sai miracle was born. I'm reminded there again of one of Swami's miracles. The stage was set at UDW, the Jusab Hall, and on the Sunday when we were recording, we had Swami's chair about, I would say, about 80 meters from the stage. Swami's chair was set. And it was the middle of winter, and the entire hall was very cold. I, for one, was bare feet, and I was trying to organize the children with the gurus, etc. And just before we could start recording that video to do the first take, the entire 80 meters from the stage right to Swami's chair, the floor was warm, 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 and it was quite a miracle for all of us, because we were really in awe of the fact that Swami's omnipresence is everywhere, and we told the children about that. It gave them a beautiful sense of confidence and heightened their love, and the first recording was a miracle in itself. It was a beautiful recording, and the children's performance was far higher than what we expected it to be for the first leg.
And the entire congregation and all the coordinators and even the cameraman was shocked He says, listen, we don't need the other 2 takes because this first one came out so powerful and perfect. And this we can justify very, very clearly, and we know that this was a work of our Lord Bhagawan Sri Sathya Sai Baba.
And I think the power that brought to the process really added value in the sense that the play went out of its way to make sure that no community was excluded, that each time the spirit of togetherness, each time the focus on cultural diversity, each time focusing on the strengths. Even, for example, in telling the story of apartheid, we looked at the positive contribution that the Afrikaner community had made. So every step of the way, by having different people from different backgrounds in a spirit of togetherness, stressing the importance of the unity in diversity, really helped tell a positive story.
One of the scenes required the children to learn gumboot dance, and so we had to enlist the help of somebody who could do a gumboot dance, choreograph a gumboot dance for us. And he was dedicated and he was brilliant. He was just energetic and vibrant, and everybody fell in love with him. He had such an incredible energy in the way in which he helped and assisted us. And the amazing thing was that he too felt moved by the process, felt transformed by the process. And Tumelo ended up coming with us on our journey to Prashanthi. And he was one of those blessed to actually sitting at Swami's feet and being moved by the presence of the avatar. But he started out as simply our gumboot dance choreographer.
Day of the production, the vibrations were unbelievable, the color, the music, and our spiritual head just watching him enjoying the drama, his army of students watching their smiles, looking and speaking to devotees from across the world. So all the various countries were truly amazed at how the whole of Prashanthi Nilayam, where it was performed, was really brought alive.
Africa, oh Africa, my Africa, our Africa.
I think very interesting as well, the tool that we used was to have a storyteller, which is Mbongi, and him narrating the history of the country using the Big Five. Of course, being an African production, the Big Five has its own charm using Big Five animals, and I think there was a childlike quality that came through which neutralized any opportunity to politicize the play by having the Big Five. So there's a beauty if you listen to Mbube the lion, reflecting to young Chaitanya, and each time bringing it down to the level of children also helped tell the story in a neutral way.
Chaitanya and their majestic leader, Mbube the lion.
So having an Mbongi as a narrator, having the Big Five, and having children with their simplicity and their naivety tell the story also added to that charisma and that charm. I think just to mention as well that in terms of the cast, we had 183 children perform from various different backgrounds, 111 of which came from materially disadvantaged backgrounds, having over 180 children perform in the choir, and over 600 adults sing live, also added to the vibrancy and authenticity of Ubuntu. I must confess that as a coordinator of the program, there were moments where our faiths were severely tested. But through it all, there was a continuous remembrance that this was not a production for a production's sake, but it was a story that we were presenting to our spiritual head.
A seagull wings across the sea. Broken silence is what I dream. Who has the words to close the distance between you and me? Asim Bonanga, Asim Bonangu Mandela China,
If you look at the inner significance or the meaning of the song Asim Bonanga, it refers to our great leader Mandela, and it indicates that we haven't seen him. He's in a prison somewhere. We haven't even seen the building, and yet his impact, though physically they haven't seen him, they were charged, fully charged, to fight for his release. Similarly, if you draw a correlation, on a spiritual level with the pilgrims that are going to Prashanthi, hundreds of them haven't seen Bhagawan Baba. So the song is very apt as well, because they haven't seen their God, their leader, a spiritual leader, a world phenomenon, and how excited they are. So when they sang this song, Asim Bonanga, in terms of having not seen Mandela, President Mandela, should I say, it also gave them this deep inner feeling of urge to see their spiritual leader as well. So every song had a very potent, relevant meaning for the play, as well as in terms of enhancing the diversity of our Rainbow Nation.
I've seen the show before, but on the day of the show, I didn't feel anything, to be very honest. I did the hair, I did the makeup, I was sitting there. I saw Swami, but I've seen so much of the show, but the only time I really felt the show was after everything was over. Wow, we've achieved this. And when Swami sat there and he was making all these monkey tricks with our children, did I feel, yay, we did achieve something. But during the show, I think I was still in shock that it happened so quickly. I wasn't expecting it to happen on the 28th. I was expecting it to happen a little later, but Swami felt really sorry for us and he didn't want us to go through all the tension, and he brought it forward.
The second leg saw our children heightening their spiritual sadhanas, keeping journals, writing their stories, their miracles in their personal lives. At the same time, it was very high impact. It was very high impact for people around the country. We were mobilizing practices at various Sai centers. There was a lot of feedback going on to and fro. And more than anything else, I think we watched, as teachers, we watched our young children, which are beacons of the future in the Sai organization and in South Africa, and I have to add, in the world, of Swami's mission, propagating his love and harmony. So we watched them very closely, and we watched how they grew, how their love for Swami had helped them to perform with such vigor and passion.
I think it augurs supremely well for our country, because there was something that I used to do during our rehearsals and in Prashanthi, is watch the children when they were not rehearsing, during their rest breaks, etc. So watch the interaction between the children. They each had a role to play. They were either dancing or singing or acting or helping and assisting, but they all did it in the most joyful manner possible, and I suppose as unique to children. But never once did I get a sense from the children. And the children, their ages were between 6 and 16. That's including the choir, the children's choir. There was never that sense of ego that is evident amongst us adults, not amongst the children.
I think it was a bit of a challenge. It was a little bit of a culture shock for some of them, because the first few days they looked down, they were sad, and until you get to talking to the children, and you had to get in there and make the children feel that you are there for them. They are the stars, they are the reason for the pilgrimage. And when the children were talked to, you couldn't just leave them on their own. You got to make conversation with them all the time. Are you okay? Are you enjoying this? Would you come back here? And I think I had the chance of spending the 3 weeks with the children daily, conversing with them, even the little boys, and trying to get them to be happy, which gave me so much of joy as well. And every day you saw the children getting happier and happier, and getting to enjoy Prashanthi even more.
Thank you. She's in charge of getting the breakfast ready in the morning. Chili powder with all the garam masala, the jeera, and chili powder and turmeric, because this canteen has never used chili powder before, and I think we South Africans have made history this year in bringing hot food to the canteen. And I was told that for the first time in the 14 years that the Western canteen has opened, that there has been so many Indians supporting this kitchen.
Well, before we left, I had received an email from the canteen saying, "This is Swami's kitchen, and since you are bringing so many children and coming, would you take charge of the children's meals? See if you can get your ingredients and make use of the kitchen as though it was your own." And I have worked in the kitchen before, and I had experiences with working with Fabian, and that is why she sent me the email. And when I got there, I didn't realize that I was going to be working 24/7 in the canteen. And I got lots of support from Prashanthi and my brother. The first day we went in, we got to manage the pantry, we got to manage the fridge, we got to manage the kitchen, and then we made a team. And what happened was the half of the people that came on pilgrimage came to the canteen to help, and that's what made it possible that it became a South African kitchen for 3 weeks. And I think we made history because there were no spices in the kitchen. And the first day Swami had said that he wanted spicy food for his guests, not realizing he was talking about us, his guests.
We wanted to ensure that it wasn't simply those of us that were blessed with the means to be able to go on the pilgrimage. Back in South Africa are so many thousands more Sai devotees for life circumstances were unable to make that journey. But yet they gave and they participated in the process without a moment's hesitation, without any reservation. Their attitude was, how can we help? How can we make your journey a little bit easier? What can we offer so that we too are part of this process? And they did.
We firmly believe that everything that's happened in this pilgrimage is destined by the will of God, and in this case Bhagawan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. We also believe that these stars were handpicked by God Himself. So it was an intentional move, we may think from our side, but there was a guiding hand behind these occurrences. So these stars, we believe, having gone to Prashanthi, having been involved in a unity in diversity program which showcases the Rainbow Nation, the South Africa that we are living in at this point in time. It's a world community, South Africa, where the whole world is here with us. We believe that this rich heritage of the Rainbow Nation will get strengthened by these youngsters, taking up key role, not only in South Africa. We firmly believe that they will be posted throughout the world to indicate to the world that whilst we are diverse, we are still one, fostering the Advaitic principle of oneness. One caste, one religion, one humanity, and only one race. This is the profound message of Bhagawan Baba, and this is the profound message of the play Ubuntu itself. I am because of you are, and you are because of I am.
Following a religious path sometimes is no royal road, and this experience also showed every single one of us involved, and that was many people, many people involved. It showed us that when you are doing God's work, He wants you to learn that life is about ups and downs, and He wants you to try and put your teachings into practice to see how you can overcome your hurdles, because that's life's journey.
And it will be an unforgettable memory, and let's enjoy it. And everybody did. It was a blessing that was felt by everybody, regardless of the difficulties and the challenges.
So everything was a little step towards the big offering. One of the other challenges, I have to say, was getting so many children that were not fully within the Sai organization. They were from outreach programs, they were from the EHV programs, but to get them all aligned to see that this is a love offering, this is a preparation to the avatar, and how we're going to work through this all is through lots of work, discipline, and just love for Swami, and that grew over the 6 months.
And when we were leaving, the children were feeling sad to leave. And this alone will tell you that there was major transformation.
We, in fact, were very proud to be able to say to Swami, and I'm sure we did say it in our minds at least to Swami, Swami, all of South Africa has come to have your darshan. And I confidently believe that we did, because we took with us the prayers and the well wishes of everybody back in South Africa as well.